Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time for Broad Stipe. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under the video, if you wish to. But this is for the 2003 film National Security, which... funny enough, I actually did see this in the theater back in the day. Because around 2003, I would see a lot of movies in the theater. At that time, lived near a theater where it was in walking distance, or if I wanted to, could take the bus. And about every week, or every 2 weeks, I would get to the theater and whatever was playing, I would watch something. So that's how I watched films like Kangaroo Jack and Terminator 3 and Bad Boys 2, Matrix Reloaded, even Secret Window. It was an interesting experience. There were bad films like Secret Window and Identity. There were good films like Bad Boys 2, and then there were films that kind of meh, like this movie. And this movie I always felt was like a meh Martin Lawrence film. Because Martin Lawrence at the time, he had found success with Bad Boys. Bad Boys 2 was coming around the same year. Loved Bad Boys 2. Saw that in the theater twice. He had Blue Streak, which I enjoyed. He found success with Big Mama's House, which got 2 sequels. He was in Life with Eddie Murphy. So this was another buddy cop film that he did. And of the ones he did, this one I thought was a lot less effective. I think Blue Streak is funnier than this. I definitely think the Bad Boys films are better than this. This one, Steve Zahn plays a cop. He's playing the role fairly serious for the most part. His partner is Timothy Busfield, who I remember from... He was in a killer cat movie called Strays. And he was also in Revenge of the Nerds back in the day. One day they find these guys stealing some stuff. His partner gets killed. Steve Zahn wants to find out what happened to his partner. He's still upset about the death of his partner. Killed by Eric Roberts. Yes, Eric Roberts is the villain in this movie. Although anybody could have played it. That's the thing. Anybody could have played this part. Did not. It was a waste of Eric Roberts' talent, because I do think he has talent. I think if he's used well, like The Ambulance, a Larry Cohen film, which was a very quirky, interesting thriller, where someone had this ambulance and they would steal people and for organ harvesting, and Eric Roberts played this comic book artist trying to find out what's going on and where this one missing person's at. Didn't. Underrated film, The Ambulance. But anybody could have played this part. So Steve Zahn is out of it because his partner's been killed. And he sees someone, seems like they're going to break into a car. It's Martin Lawrence. Now Martin Lawrence's character, he wants to be a cop. He was at police academy. He failed it because he's being too cocky. Getting the suspect down for training. He shoots a bunch of targets. He doesn't hit the black guy because he goes, it's a black guy in front of white people. He's scared. And he is such an unlikable character to me in this movie. I mean, there's still some of that Martin Lawrence charm, because I like Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence is an actor I've enjoyed since Nothing to Lose with him and Tim Robbins. Like I said, the Bad Boys films and Blue Streak. And there's many films I've given a chance to because I liked him. I mean, Black Knight and that fucking basketball movie Rebound I gave a chance to because I like Martin Lawrence. I like Wild Hogs, just him and Tim Allen. But I remember liking the TV show Martin. But this, the thing with his character, he's a race-baiting guy who sees everybody's being racist, Well, you don't do this because I'm a black man? Oh, you don't do this because I'm a black man? He's being cocky, he's being unlikable, he's telling the cop to fuck off, and Steve Zahn's like, hey, what are you doing? Okay, I gotta arrest you. There's a bee. Steve Zahn tries to hit the bee. The bee stings Martin Lawrence, so he gets allergic to it. But then the video looks like a cop beating on a black guy. So this movie definitely has a different connotation watching it today. And then Martin Lawrence lies about it. Says, oh yeah, he did this and he did that. And makes it so that Steve Zahn loses his job, goes to jail for like 6 months or so, lost his girlfriend, and now he's working just security. His captain, played by Bill Duke, at least when he was a cop, which is nice to see Bill Duke back from the original Predator. He comes back later in the film. As a security guy, he listened to what happened to his former partner. Martin Lawrence is also a security guy. Ultimately, they meet, and then Martin Lawrence wants to be his partner, and Steve Zahn wants him to leave him the fuck alone. And I think I can enjoy this as a time waster because it's a short film, it's 80-some minutes long. I do like Martin Lawrence as an actor. I do like Steve Zahn as an actor. The action scenes are there. He did some slow motion, like in this soda factory where they're going in slow motion. You see all these sodas, 1 liter, like 2 liter, pop up behind them. And it's one of those films that didn't make me that mad. You're kind of just watching it and the time's going by. You go, maybe a smirk here or there. You know, it's one of those films you watch and it's harmless, but at the same time, it's nothing to run home about. I think the biggest problem is Steve Zahn and Martin Lawrence, they don't really have chemistry together. That's the thing when you have a buddy movie, you gotta have chemistry. And they don't really have the chemistry. Like Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins, they worked well and Nothing But Trouble. I mean, Nothing to Lose. Nothing But Trouble is a different movie with Chevy Chase. But Nothing to Lose. That's a buddy film I highly enjoyed. I thought Martin Lawrence, Tim Robbins, the way they go back and forth was rather funny. He works well with Will Smith in Bad Boys 1 through 3. He worked well with even Luke Wilson. And Blue Streak was more him, his movie, driving force. It's not really a buddy movie, but when Luke Wilson appeared, he worked well. So him and Steve Zahn is kind of... they don't really mesh well together. I don't know if it's because Steve Zahn, he's playing a more straightforward character. He's not really being the Steve Zahn that he's normally known. He's not really being a comedic character. He's the straight man, while Martin Lawrence is being a bit more over the top. But Martin Lawrence is still more tolerable than Kevin Hart. Listen to me, even though he's playing this race baiting, like he doesn't... Steve Zahn tries to get back with his girlfriend, and Martin Lawrence lies because he doesn't want to see a white guy with a black girl. But then he hits on this white girl, and Steve Zahn's like, what's the deal? Well, see, my rule only happens when the guy's white. He just felt like an asshole. He just felt unlikable of a character, and that hurt the film as well. And yes, in all honesty, this should be a rant. It's just... it's not getting a lot of fire out of me. Maybe because some of the other films I've seen recently. Maybe because it's only an hour and 20-some minutes long. And it's kind of like the action scenes are there. Martin Lawrence has his moments. Like there's a bit with him and Steve Zahn sitting down, talking. And it's like, wow, all this stuff happened to you? You know what you are, man? You're a black man. I like the sounds stupid, but the way that played out was a little humorous. They try to make a one-liner where Martin keeps saying, what the problem is. What the problem is. But it didn't really work. Leslie Jones has an appearance as a trucker who picks up Martin Lawrence, is ready to body slam him. Probably one of the more humorous moments is the one in the trailer where Steve Zahn tries to get the car and she just keeps slapping the face. What are you doing yelling at me? And they both have to ride in the back of the car while she drives. They meet with Bill Duke. There's a few more firefights. There's a battle at the end. They both work together to stop Eric Roberts, drop his ass into the ocean. I would say the trailer is a bit misleading. And what I mean by that is when you watch the trailer of the film, the trailer makes it seem as if from the beginning they're partners in the security force. Because it begins with the way the trailer is showing most of the ending of the film. Martin Lawrence with the badge doing the siren noise, and then stopping the criminal, and Martin Lawrence shoots at the car and goes, "You may get your vehicle," and it blows up. That is literally the last bit of the movie before the end credits. And again, that's kind of misleading to the audience. Because maybe if it was a movie where it was just these two guys as partners, and yeah, typical, they don't get along the best. But I don't know, just the race baiting part of Martin Lawrence, I wasn't really a fan of. Like I said, the lack of chemistry between the two leads. Eric Roberts, anybody could have played his villainous part. He doesn't really have much to work with, like much of anything. But it's still cool to see Eric Roberts. It's cool to see Bill Duke as this captain. Steve Zahn trying to do something a little bit different because I like the actor. A couple of the action scenes, they try to do a little bit of slow-mo, like a little bit of wannabe John Woo. A little bit of it. It's directed by Dennis Dugan, who did Happy Gilmore, a few other comedies. He's definitely done better comedies, but he's definitely done worse. Because he did some of the later Adam Sandler films, which are way worse than this. This was kind of an in-between movie for me, where it was short enough that I wasn't bored. I was maybe mildly entertained by certain scenes. Like Leslie Jones picked up Martin Lawrence, who's trying to be so cocky, but then she gives him a piece of humble pie. Once in a while, a moment between Steve Zahn and Martin Lawrence worked, once in a while. But like I say, it's kind of mediocre. I think that's the best way to call this. It's a mediocre movie. There's a lot worse, and there's a lot better buddy cop films. I mean, better buddy cop films. I mentioned you the Bad Boys films. 48 Hours, and in my opinion, Tango and Cash, I Come in Peace, Split Second, Lethal Weapon. Buddy movies in general. I think Martin was in Nothing to Lose with Tim Robbins. Money Talks with Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen. That's a fun movie from the 90s. Even Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. That's a fun buddy movie. And there's tons of other buddy movies. Bill and Ted, Harold and Kumar films, Clerks. I mean, it just... And in buddy cop films, I would put it above Cop Out. Cop Out was a film I wanted to like. Just Bruce Willis, Kevin Smith, I like those guys, but I fooled myself into liking it when I first saw it, and I'm like, no, this isn't good. So I would put it above Cop Out. I would put it above... It didn't make me as mad as Bullet to the Head with Sylvester Stallone, because I expect more out of Stallone. And Stallone and Sundance had even worse chemistry with each other. Even less chemistry with each other compared to this. So there's much worse buddy cop films, and there's just much better. That's what I mean. It's an in-between mediocre film. If you're a big Martin Lawrence fan, you could give it a watch. It's only an hour and 20-some minutes. It goes by a fast pace, I'll say that. I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's boring in the slightest. This mean like you watch it. You know how you put movies and you watch it as background noise, like you doing something, you look up every once in a while, you listen to the dialogue. It's like one of those background noise movies that's overall fairly harmless. But you see why no one really talks about national security. I mean, a funnier comedy dealing with security to me is Armed and Dangerous with John Candy and Eugene Levy. Like, I think Armed and Dangerous was a better version of that, where they're security guards and then they're part of investigating a crime. Because I think John Candy, and Eugene Levy, they worked better together in that movie compared to this. Like, so I would say go watch Armed and Dangerous, but again, there's much worse. There's much better. Even Martin Lawrence films. I'd rather watch this than Black Knight. I'd rather watch this than Rebound. I'm not a fan of Big Mama's House films. I'm sorry. I'd rather watch this than those. But even like Martin Lawrence, like I would rather watch Bad Boys films. Nothing to Lose. Like I said, Blue Streak. Even Wild Hogs. I'll put that above this. So again, it fits right in the middle. Take it or leave it. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.